And basically tonight, gentlemen, we have nothing as such on the agenda, but I do understand we have a couple of guests that want to talk about refinancing of our bond issue. Before we get into that, I would appreciate it. Mayor, did you have any comments you wanted to make in pre-council?
I do. Do you want to have our guests go ahead and share first?
No, I'd rather we
Okay.
get the business and then we'll go to the guests.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. I don't know how much you watch Facebook or not, but there was a question on there last night that our videographer put on, which I appreciated. Ron put on a question about something that actually I've been giving thought to for a long time, for a couple of years actually, and more seriously in the last few weeks. And that was a question about, do we, as a city, are we in a position to where we might need to look at our form of government, how we operate, whether we go from the mayor-council form that we have now to a city manager form of government. That was the question, do we need to change and look differently at what we're looking at there? I posted on there. I don't know, did any of you look at that or see that? Terry, did you see it?
Mm-hmm.
John, did you see it? Okay. It's on the Irondale Community Forum. I rarely respond. I think in the 2.5 years of this administration, I think I've responded 3 times, I think, with a post, maybe 4. Rarely respond to those. I never get into the social media debates. There are many times when I would like to respond that I use considerable self-restraint and don't, to correct the record, factual inaccuracies and those sorts of things. But I just want to go on record as saying, one, I appreciate the question being asked publicly as a forum for us to discuss it, and 2, just kind of restate my position on it. My position is posted on there online for you to read. But I think we do need to look at that, and I am working on a recommendation to you that will come in the near future to you on that topic. I can tell you what I'm thinking right now. May look a little bit different by the time it gets fleshed out. But what I'm looking at is making a recommendation to you all that we reduce the mayor's pay significantly down to the level of at least what the council president's pay is, and that we look at hiring a person, whatever that person is called, whether it's a city manager. Different cities do it a little bit differently. Hoover calls it an executive director. Someone else may call it a director of operations. But a person to oversee the day-to-day management. Take those excess funds that are reduced from the mayor's compensation and apply those towards the hiring of that position going forward in the future. We would have to budget some additional funding with that, of course, but I think it would be very doable for us. I think there are a lot of benefits to that. If you go with hiring a person, not electing a person to do the management of the city, then you can get the best available person that is out there. If you go the election route, which is where we've been thus far, you can potentially get the best available person that lives in Irondale. You may also get the village idiot that lives in Irondale, and some would say that's what you got in the last election. I mean, the best available person. I didn't think the last part of that. So, anyway, so there are obviously some advantages to that. By going through a hiring process, you get people with the skills, with the experience, people with the training, and you get continuity with that. It's not changing every time you have an election, or potentially changing every time that you have an election. And so I think there are a number of advantages there of going that route. So I'm only just broaching this topic with you so that you know what to expect coming in the future. I will bring to you a proposal in the near future that is more fleshed out than this. I'd be happy to respond if any of you have any questions on it, but that's just kind of where I am at this point.
But very early stages, I'm assuming we would have to use our legal counsel to look at what the legal steps might be to get something like that started. It has to go to the state legislature, or it's something we can do.
And I've asked, and in fact, just so you know that I'm not just tagging on to the questions on there, I'd asked Charlie Waldrop at the last meeting we had to begin that process of looking at what the structure would look like, or what the process and steps would look like, so.
Okay.
So, great minds, I guess, think alike, but anyway, that's kind of where we are.
Well, thank you, appreciate that update. While we've got it, Councilor Bearden, anything tonight, since we don't have anything major on our agenda?
Yeah.
We lost the one item that should have come to us. So.
It's been brought to my attention by one of the citizens of Irondale that the state is once again doing the tax-free weekend. And I wondered if the city would be wanting to consider that the 19th through the 21st. That's something, I don't think we went along with it last year because we were financially strapped, but is that something the council would want to take into consideration?
This is emergency preparedness? Is that what this is?
Well,
Preschool.
yeah, school, I think, yeah.
Preschool.
Back to school, yeah. Okay.
I would say if you would get with Mr. Beard and try to get us a resolution to put on one of the agendas, we can always consider it.
Okay,
That's easy enough, I would think.
well,
And you probably got
19th,
the old one, I would think. Yeah, okay.
let's see when that is. Let's see when it is.
We've
Well,
got,
we'll meet again on the 16th before it happens, but that'd be the weekend after our next council meeting.
okay. But I think we can handle it, don't you? Yeah.
Okay.
It's not that complicated, I would
All
say.
right.
We've got expertise in that area.
All
so.
right, if you put that on the agenda next
Okay.
council
Thank you.
meeting, James.
All right. Council Spivey, anything? Council London?
Yeah, just a couple things. First of all, good evening to everyone. A couple things. Shays Valley High School are planning a Meet the Mountains Day, and this is kind of the first week in August. Those dates to be announced later. But that's the first weekend in August, and they want to kind of throw it out to the city, kind of see how we want to get involved with that. But some more information will be coming with that here later on. Let's find out today. And then also, the J Club is Jacksonville. It's a group of Jacksonville State University football players, ex-football players. They've done this for the last 45 years now. July 27th, they will have a backpack giveaway at Beacon Park. They've been doing it a long time, and so they're going to do it July 27th from 12 to 5 at Beacon Park at the local pavilion on the 27th.
Question for our city clerk, with something like you mentioned to support, would that be something that might be applicable to the funds that come into the waterworks? Okay. Would you coordinate with him? Because that would be a great possibility, because there's no question about those, that they could be used.
Okay.
All right. With that being said, I have just one comment. We're minus one member, but would everybody be kind enough on the council when they get their agenda from Mr. Stewart to please respond to him the day you get it, that you're going to be here or not be here. That way, number one, he'll know you got the agenda. We'll also know if we've got a quorum. And if you had anything to add to pre-council or to council, please inform Mr. Stewart so he can either get it on the agenda or at least update us that there's going to be something new and different, so we'll all know and be prepared. And so we make him the point person, so we won't be exchanging emails or getting anything serial meeting wise or otherwise.
Can I piggyback on that a little bit?
Go ahead.
And I know I've been guilty of this a few times. And me and Bobby Joe, we talked about this a little bit. We have a policy in place about when stuff has to be submitted, like a deadline. And I feel like we've been kind of, and like I said, I'm guilty of this as well, about adding stuff to the agenda at the last minute. I understand things might come up that are emergencies that have to be addressed for whatever reason, but I just wanted to kind of see if we need to maybe revisit that policy or just maybe enforce it a little bit more.
It's the Tuesday before, correct?
Tuesday before 5.
Okay, but just a thought to put out there, I think it would help. And even if you had to add something at the last minute, at least by going back to him, he can get information out to all of us so we know what to expect. That's the key. Okay, so just think about it, that's just my suggestion, I'd like to see that happen, because I sometimes come in and don't know what's happening until I get here.
Right.
We'll, that way we can just get our meeting done. The main thing I'm concerned about is that we have a quorum,
Understood.
okay? And that you're gonna have to look at it at some point. I'm not saying read it, just acknowledge you got it and say you're gonna be here or not gonna be here. And if something comes up, that's understandable, but at least by Friday, we know whether we've got a quorum or not Tuesday. That's the main part. And with that being said, I think we could open up, I think, Mr. Wilson, you had somebody tonight you wanted to introduce?
No. Love Jim.
There's a couple of people here, I thought, to make a presentation, at least one.
I see some people here. Did somebody invite you here?
Okay, Mayor, go ahead,
Oh,
please.
okay.
We have Mr. Walter Lewis here with us. He's with Piper Jaffray. I think most of you probably know him. Is that right? Well, maybe a couple of council members don't. Would you like to come up and address the group?
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. Just lay that down for a second. I have some information here. I don't know if this is the appropriate time to submit it or what have you, but
Again, you're more than welcome to pass it out. This is free council. We won't be voting on anything
Sure,
tonight.
sure.
So informational purposes, please, if you're going to present, please let us have the folder. We'd appreciate that. Thank you. And don't think we're being rude if we look down, okay? I guess we got another couple here, or maybe there's three. You got one? Here, may I have one back here for James? Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much. You got the other one?
That's all I have.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Please,
Gotcha.
if you'll introduce yourself and,
my name is Walter Lewis, and I represent Piper Jaffray here in Birmingham, and I'm an investment banker. Had opportunities to work with various cities and counties across the state as it relates to, bond financing per se, and I've been tracking an opportunity here for this city for quite some time, and just wanted to come before this council to just present some information, let you know what's there. I'm very aware of who you've done business with in the past there, but I'm here to try to create an opportunity for Piper Jaffray as it relates to that. What I'd like to do in this presentation, just walk through just some of the information that I have in this booklet, tell you a little bit about Piper Jaffray, and there's some information there, and then you'll have the information. And if there are any questions that you may have, we'll try to keep it as brief as possible.
if we will, since we've got two people to present, would you be kind enough to try to stay within 5 so we'll get, and have time for questions at the end for either party?
Yeah,
All
so
right.
5 minutes is the time.
Thank you, sir. If you would, please.
This is gonna be the 2-minute drill of football.
Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate it.
all right, you turn to tab number 1,
Yes, sir.
as a debt overview. There. Page number 4. Then here's a list of all your debt as it relates to the city. You have a 2010, 11, A and B, a 13B, a 14C, 15A and B, and C, and D. There. And the focus of this presentation basically is to talk to you about the first two as it relates to some opportunities that are there. If you turn over to the next page, the next page is basically what your debt looks like. You can see the structures of all the debts that's there. Your max payment is about $4.7 million, and that'll go for about 3 more years, and then it drops down to 3.7, and you can kind of see the trend over to the far right there in terms of your total debt. The first, the 2010 and the 2011, those are the ones that focus there. You turn to tab number. Can I just set this down?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You sound loud enough, thank you. Speak up so you'll at least be heard on the mic.
That's fine, I'll speak
Okay,
up as
thank
much
you.
as I can. You turn to page number 7. What I'm looking at in terms of an opportunity there on a non-bank qualified basis is the refinancing of the 2010s and the 2011s. Over on the left, you can see that the The total outstanding for those bonds is $12.7 million or so. If we, and then underneath that is $590,000, that's something that we're not looking at in terms of refinancing. But beneath there, you can see if we were to look at the possibilities of refinancing your debt, you can refinance all of it, with the exception of the 590, issue an issue of $11,185,000. Basically, if you look at the coupon there at the top, you're looking at 3.82%. But below you can see where interest rates there are from a true interest cost standpoint, 2.325. Okay. And that savings for today, today's market is about $1.2 million. Okay, that's a present value of 9.8%. In our industry, they talk about 3% savings in terms of being a market standard. For me, I try to get a client at least 5%, and the 9.8% is well below that. If you look over to the right, here's what the debt structure looks like. It says prior net debt service right there. That's what you're paying on both of those issues right now. Look at to the right of that, there's a new debt. And then to the right of that is also your present value, your annual savings of about $97,000 a year. That totals up to about 1.4 on a gross basis. When you present value that gives you the 1.2. Okay. At the bottom, you can see what we're proposing in terms of just actual costs. Fixed costs of about an estimate of $65,000. We haven't talked with your attorneys. I know Charlie Walker is your attorney here, and they also do bonds per se in terms of structure and writing up the bonds. We haven't talked with him yet, but we'll get quotes to solidify that fixed cost. $5 a bond is what I'm proposing. I think that's what you all paid on your last transaction from an underwriting standpoint. That's what we're proposing to tonight. Okay. And then the next page, there's another way you can do it, where you don't refund all of the debt on a bank qualified basis. This transaction, you're only taking out about $10 million worth of bonds today. That's in terms of savings on a bank qualified basis. You can yield about the same amount. The present value number increases about $11 million. But in this scenario, we're not going to refund all of them. We're going to refund $10.6 million, which gives you, and we'll leave behind $2.6 million and not touch the others there. That's just the scenario that's there. Either way works. Your bonds are callable as of July 1st, both series, where they can be done right now. That's the basic 2-minute drill. I'm not even going to talk about picographic other than the fact that it's been around for 125 years. I have a great reputation in the industry in terms of executing debt and bonds in the marketplace. Very well qualified to handle your transactions.
Thank you. Well,
I have a question.
Go ahead, please, sir.
Just so I will know, of course, I've been listening to this for a while, through the years. Will this extend our debt? Is this adding anything to our debt?
No, we're not.
Bottom line?
Same term.
Same
Not
term,
extending the debt.
not extending anything,
No, we're not.
just a refund?
Just to
From what we
refinance,
already
keeping the term the same.
Okay.
And here's one thing too, I didn't mention, I'm showing you an annual debt service. I would have to be under the G17 regulatory letter that you all would have to sign for me to show you savings up front. But that 1.2 million, you can take it up front in the debt service that you'll have. After we do that, it'll be the same as what you're paying right now. So you can either take it on an annual basis or you can take it up front as a cash payment to the city. The debt service remaining the same and the term remaining the same.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
On your last example, why would a city or entity leave that 2.695 there?
I wouldn't suggest that. That was just a scenario that my analyst actually put in there. I would suggest in this market right here, rates are so low right now. The first scenario is the scenario that I would suggest. Yes. In the other scenario, if rates were a little bit higher, that may make sense.
For future?
Yeah, for future, yes.
You touched on rates.
Yes.
How long is this locked in?
Well, your
Until
rates,
July 1st?
the rates that you're paying right now are locked in, but this is just a snapshot today. We would have to be hired either I or Raymond James will have to be hired to get all the documentation ready. But that would probably take 2 to 3 weeks in order to do that type of thing, to get it ready for the marketplace. And then in that 4th week, possibly, we could be in the market to price. And once you price, sign that warrant purchase agreement, that's when your rates are actually locked in.
Thank you.
So it's a process we'll have to go through.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Well done.
I have a question as well, if I may.
Okay, Terry, we're pushing it to get our second person in, but please go ahead.
All right, on page 7, under PV of CF savings, is this cash back to us that year, or as opposed to a total of the 1.2 million coming back at one time?
I said it just a few minutes ago, the scenarios that I'm showing you, the level debt service say this over an annual period.
It's just a savings, it's not
Hold on. If you hire Piper Jaffray to do this deal, or whomever you may hire, maybe Raymond James, you have the option of being able to take your savings up front. Okay? If you take your savings up front, that's a cash payment to the city.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Absolutely, you have that option.
Thank you so much. Could we ask our second guest to come forward, please? Thank you. Go ahead, Mayor. Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's see, I've passed out some of these, but who does not have one?
I think Bobby Joe doesn't have one.
Just down here on the, thank you.
My name's Brad Green, I'm with Raymond James. We are here in Birmingham. I live about 7 minutes from here, my GPS told me, so it's good to be here. You guys may have known Matt through the years. I have kind of been more involved on the number side in the office, so I worked on the 2014 and 2015 bond issues. We have refunded 6 prior issuances for the city that netted savings after cost of issuance of about $2.7 million. And so, as you heard from Walter, there is an opportunity to save some pretty good money on the 2010 and 2011 issues. As far as Raymond James, I'm not going to flip through all this stuff, but I think there's kind of 3 things that we believe that a city should look at when you're hiring an underwriter. And they are a sales force, capital, and experience. We feel that Raymond James brings a lot of experience to the table. We're a top 10 underwriter in the country. We're consistently one of the largest in the state of Alabama, and hope to continue to be able to do that. Where does the sales force and capital come into this whole picture? When you hire an underwriter, you're hiring them to sell your bonds at the lowest interest rate possible. And so when you have a sales force that is out calling investors on the city's behalf, selling bonds, the more orders for your bonds that they can bring in for the issue, the better off the city's going to be. And we can begin lowering that rate to your benefit. And so that's the goal of, and that's the whole MO, is to have a big sales force. If you can't sell all the bonds, we're called underwriters because it's our responsibility to buy the bonds from the city and lock in your rate. So it's important to have a strong capital base. And so over the last 50 to 75 years, we've been profitable every quarter and continue to do so and support our municipal clients by buying bonds if we can't find investors to purchase them. And so I will try, I'm not going to flip through all of section 1, but if you'll flip to page 11, just talking about the fees. When we were brought in 2014, we charged $6.50 a bond. In 2015, we charged $5 a bond. We would propose to charge you know, around the same, there as far as fees. You know, if you look at the state average, that's way below what, a lot of folks, pay, and I've got an average of us and, our competitors there, so you can kind of see where you are in relation to the average. As Walter said, you know, the rates are just crazy low right now. If you turn to page 15,
Did you say 15?
yes, sir. The 15-year interest rate right now has only been lower than it is today, 1.46% of the time for over the last 25 years. So I guess, you know, waiting, you're really gambling if you decide to wait.
What Counselor Beard probably wants to hear are the bottom line numbers, and
Mhm.
your time is running, so.
Page
thank you.
19, sure.
Okay,
Net of cost of issuance, 1.5 million. Present value, 1.3 million. True interest cost of 2.24%.
What page are we looking at for
Page
that?
19, in section 3. It'll be highlighted there in the middle of the page. Total estimated gross savings. Does everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's present valued at the bond yield.
Is that 1.5 million what you're talking about?
That's correct.
okay, at this point, gentlemen, it's open for questions, so we've had our presentation
Or
part.
that is a refund?
That's correct.
Okay.
And that's not extending, if you flip the page to 20,
Mhm.
that's a visual representation of what the actual savings are. You're getting about 125,000 to 120,000 for the first 7 years, and then it drops off after that because the 2010s pay off there.
Okay.
The question would be, Mr. Stewart, real quickly, before we have to go into regular council, how have we done this in the past as far as getting proposals in? What have we done in the past to get to the point that we can move forward?
Well,
Excuse me.
they've kind of changed some of the rules from when we were doing them in the past. You used to just have people to come in to be able to do presentations, and you could choose one. You pretty much do the same thing, but they did mention a form that you would have to have one of them to sign if you would want to go, for them to go any further, to go into further detail, so that they could provide you with more information. This was something that was decided 2015, somewhere around there,
Yes.
16, so that's where we are.
In the past, we're usually taking the refund and use the money for capital expenses or something like that.
No, he was asking me about change, how have we done with the underwriter?
To get the underwriter selected and move forward.
In
I'm
the
sorry, I
past,
thought you were talking about the.
Okay,
the
in the past,
refund on
the
the
past
bond.
history has been the city used Raymond James with 2007. In 2010, we used Merchants Capital. In 2010, 2011 was Merchants Capital. And then Raymond James has been used from 2014 going forward.
Mhm.
Yeah, just real quick, you mentioned Salesforce. Now, I'm not familiar with, I'm sorry, I'm not that familiar with Piper. Do y'all have a Salesforce?
Oh, absolutely. All over the country.
Gentlemen, I hate to cut this off, but we have to, I make a motion that we leave pre-council. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
All right, we can continue this.
I would ask if you'd stay around, but like
You
that.
have a second, all those in favor?